I'm Megan Gilger of the Fresh Exchange, where we talk about going from the garden to the kitchen, and I am going to tell you today about what you need to start your seeds indoors this spring. So first of all, when you're starting your seeds, it can feel really overwhelming. So if you haven't already, I highly suggest reading our How to Buy Seeds and What You Need to Know post, which you can find in the description down below. If you have any questions about that, I've answered all of it, as well as suggested great places to find your seeds and purchase them yourself, and what you actually might need to start from seed if you're thinking about doing this, as well as what you will direct. So I highly suggest, before you continue in this video, to go over to that blog post and check it out. To start, what you need is you need some dirt. I have here some really nice organic seed starting mix. I highly suggest, there's some really great companies out there, but you want something that's really rich and good. You can also build up some regular soil with a lot of compost and stuff like that if you want to do it yourself at home. There's a lot of options, but I highly suggest looking for something that is organic in nature and that is done in an eco-friendly way. Maybe it's using coconut coir, which is based off of remnants from the exterior of coconuts that have already been harvested, and they're reused so that we can use them for planting. That's a good way to look for something, as well as just looking for something that's rich in a good compost. And there's a lot of great options out there. I was just going to your local garden store, not a big box store, to find your dirt, because you're going to find a better quality dirt that may even be locally sourced, which is even better. So we'll need that. And then I also want to show you the different types of trays that you can use, because there's a lot of different kinds. So this is like the typical tray, and this is pretty normal. These are pretty inexpensive. You can buy them for a few bucks. I've had these for like 4 or 5 years now, and they work great, and they don't cost a whole lot, but they definitely, if you don't want to spend any money, like, you know, it's kind of middle range. If you want to really have like the gourmet, fancy looking seed starting situation, I highly suggest checking out these type of trays. I have a couple different styles, and they're from Terrain, and so I really suggest checking these out if you want something that's galvanized and really pretty. But these ones are actually from Target too. They are from the Smith & Hawken line. But if you really want to be the least expensive and also have kind of an eco-friendly, low waste mentality going on, you can utilize plastic that may come into your home via egg cartons, such as these. If you go to Costco, they have these really big ones that are great. And what's awesome about them is that the egg cartons have these like specific holes, and the plastic trays don't allow moisture to go through, so they're easy to water and maintain really good moisture in them versus the paper ones. Though the paper ones are really great from, you can actually plant. You can cut the plant out and put it in the ground. This is better from a moisture standpoint. So it kind of just depends on what you want. I also have here a spinach. We had spinach in this, and you can also use it. It's got great depth, as you can see. So just getting smart and utilizing stuff like that. And this is what you'll need for the beginning. But then you'll also want to have some available things, such as like deeper set cans and pots and stuff like that. As these seedlings grow, they most likely will most of them need to move into larger pots. And so I've saved some from like other times I've purchased plants and vegetables, and you can see like all these different sizes I've saved here. And then also I have gotten these ones, which are really great. You can usually fit 3 pretty good seedlings in here and give them plenty of space and depth. And these are made from recycled tires, and so they're really awesome. I got them at Target. So I like using all of these. You just want to make sure that they don't have like a permeable bottom, or if they do, that you have a way to keep the moisture from spreading everywhere. So that is the main things you need as you're starting to plan. You're going to need your seeds. So I have all my seeds here in this bowl, and I have gone through them extensively over the past 2 months, and I am down to exactly what I'm going to use. Everything from direct seeded, which means that those are seeded at specific times either right as the soil is able to be worked, the soil is warmed, or 2 weeks before the last frost. And then I also have a whole group of them that are intended for fall, and I also have another whole group that are intended for seeds starting now. Now, you don't always have to think about, like, if you buy a pack of seeds, you can see, like, I ripped this open. I purchased this one last year, and seeds have a germination time, and as they get older, the germination quantity goes down, but they're still usable. So I highly suggest, like, planning it all out so that you know exactly how many you need and exactly where you need them. So you can kind of see that each one of these has been opened already, but to help you guys go through this process of organization, I created an awesome seed chart for you to help you organize it all. So here I have a seed starting organizer and grow chart, and what you want to do is you want to identify your hardiness zone, which your hardiness zone is based upon where you live, and it tells you when and what you can plant. And then you have your last frost date, which is usually correlated with your hardiness zone, and your first frost date, meaning the first frost that will come, you know, sometime in the fall in October. So this will also identify when you need to plan your last fall planting. And then from here we have plant name, whether or not you will indoor start this item, number of weeks prior to frost that you will need to start it if you're starting it indoors, the actual date you sow those things into the soil, whether it be indoors or outdoor, the depth in which you need to plant them, the number that you actually planted. So in this meaning, like, you may only need 3 of those plants, so maybe start 6 of those seeds. This will tell you how many you started that year and how well they germinated, but also you can kind of use this column as you want, because you can also put in, like, how many you actually put into the dirt to grow in your garden. And then the transplant date. So if it was an indoor start, it is really important to understand and remember when you transplanted that, because it will help you year after year to understand what you need to do when you need to do it. So I have organized my own already, and you can see here that I have all of my seeds planned out, and it says, like, the number of weeks to when they need to go in for indoor starts, and then the depths that they're going to go in. I have not put in these areas yet because I have not started them yet. So I have a few pages, so you can definitely print this out. It's free on the post, and you can print it out, and then you have everything you need to organize it. So it feels a lot less overwhelming, and it's kind of fun to sit there and go through your seeds little by little. And many of the seeds have, depending on where you get them, for instance, if you get them from Baker Creek, you can see that there's these sprouts in number of days, all these different details. And then it also will explain it in this paragraph as well. Super helpful to understand when and what depth and everything you need to know. Now, there's a couple other seed companies that I also suggest in that post, and one of them is also Johnny's, which is really awesome. They're a little bit more for the farmer or detailed gardener, but so if it feels really overwhelming, this could either be helpful or harmful, but they have a huge amount of information. This one specifically is for microgreens, but it tells you everything you need to know, like soil temperatures, pH levels, all of that, depending on how geeky you want to get. But I find that their information is very helpful. So that's on the back of those seeds. And then if you get any flowers or edibles from Floret Farms, they have these beautiful packaging. And then they also tell you, like, when to pinch off, days to maturity, all sorts of things. So this is where you will get your information, or from that seed company's website. And that's the best way to know what to do with them. Hopefully that is really helpful so that this is not an overwhelming situation for you. As I said, if you're a beginner, highly suggest going to our post all about seed starting and what you should know, because I have all the details about I even give you exactly what maybe you want to consider planting indoors that year and what you should just consider for direct sow. So hopefully this video is really helpful to help get you started and for you not to feel overwhelmed in this process. You got this.